Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 Daily for this Friday night, the 3rd of January. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit of a mid-term report on Liverpool and the season, how it's gone so far, players, games, moments, and I suppose what's to come in the last 5 months of the season, how we approach the FA Cup, what happens in the league, Champions League. It's going to jump all over the place. There's going to be random questions thrown in there, and I've been told by both my guests that they're on no time limit, so this could go on for literally forever. But look, let's see who we get on. Here we go. And good evening, here we go. With me, of course, is my two guests. It's Andy and it's Keith. Andy, how are you, my man? You're in great form, I'd say, are you? Yeah, I'd say, go on. Christmas is great.
At this stage,
I don't know why they're saying they're sick of Christmas at this stage, Andy. But I think Christmas is great.
I'm not having a bar of any more of that carry on from people.
Would you look for Christmas to last a little bit longer?
Yeah, I would look for an extension to Christmas of a few days. So if we could re-celebrate Christmas on the 6th for a little Christmas.
Yeah, I think they do that already, Andy. Somewhere.
No, we don't. Well, in Spain they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we all move there then?
We should do it here but not have to go back to work the following day.
Yeah.
So a few days after that.
Right. Okay. I'm sure we could. I'm sure we could look into that for you, Keith. Is there any strange fucking things you want to throw out there, like extending the calendar year, or making Easter just joined onto Christmas so we can get some extra celebrations in, like Andy?
I'm all for more bank holidays and all that sort of thing. So yeah, let's extend Christmas. Let's make it nice and long.
Okay.
Even longer than.
Right.
Andy wants to, I'm all for about March. Go for it.
What, extend Christmas till March?
Yeah.
We'd be dead. Like the amount of cans we'd be fucking having.
I know, yeah. Worry about it then in April.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll see how we get on. PW says, a super long show, question mark. Give me a sec till I grab a can. You go and grab as many as you like, my man. Kev O'Sullivan says, could have gone any better. Even the injury crisis we had hasn't derailed us. We're going to get into all that, yeah, Kev. Evening Tabletopper says, Avo. The missus is out for a little women's Christmas tomorrow night, says Kev. Little women have their own Christmas, you see. This is where it's all going wrong. Do men have their own Christmas at some stage as well? I'm sure they do, because we all have to be equal. It has to be all sorts of stuff going on. If men get something, women have to get something. And if women get something, men have to get something. It's the way the world is going.
That little women's Christmas? That's a country thing.
Is it? An Irish country thing, like?
Yeah, it's a country thing.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
I never heard of it myself.
Yeah. I heard because one of my mates has a culture wife, so I heard it through him.
Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's research for you. Alan just says, Story Gav. Alan, how are you, my man? Right, let's get into it, and we will get into that's how random it started off, and it will probably end on that score as well when we get to the show and into it, and very near the end it'll go proper mayhem, because usually when Andy's involved, that's what happens. Right, the league itself. So, lads, I wanted to have a look, and I wanted to. Most seasons you would have a mid-term report, and you'd be, this is good, this is bad, we can do this, we can do that. We've been absolutely outstanding. We've been brilliant. Let's say that from the off, but. It's not being without it's hurdles to climb. It's injuries, as Kev has pointed out there, little bits and pieces going wrong, but we've managed to overcome them. But the first place I suppose to start, Andy, is usually when you get to 20 league games in, we're just gone past the halfway mark. But usually when you get that far in, and it comes to goalkeepers, you're usually talking about one goalkeeper. Has he been good? Has he saved you points? That sort of thing. How many points has he gained you? We're talking about 2 this season, because Alisson gets injured in the 4th game of the season at home to Norwich after about 20 25 minutes. Adrian, who was literally training back at home in Spain, gets the call and comes in, and his first game, I think it's the Super Cup, and he ends up playing, I think it's 8 league games in a row before Alisson makes his comeback. So on both of them, how do you think they've done? First of all, I suppose Adrian having to come into a brilliant side with massive pressure after being with West Ham, and then I suppose Alisson making his way back from injury. How do you think they've both fared?
Yeah, phenomenal really. Like the Adrian story, like he was for the scrap heap, didn't have a club, and all of a sudden he was playing in the Super Cup final. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, his first game, I think.
Yeah. So there you go. Amazing how football goes. And had we been stuck with Mig, say, for that period of games, I would have think we'd have struggled. But for whatever reason, he comes in and he just steps up to the challenge. I remember his first few games, or his first kind of season with West Ham, he was excellent, and there was a lot of talk about his distribution and everything else. So Klopp pulled off a worldie, bringing Adrian in, and he done very well.
No, he done excellent. Keith, there was a couple of issues he had. There was a couple of shaky moments, particularly one away to Southampton when he let Ings in for a goal to get them back into the game. But he seemed to learn from that, didn't he? Like Alisson did the previous season away at Leicester when he kind of drops a bollock, let's be honest about it, and learns from it and doesn't let it affect him. He seemed to come in and seemed to become part of the squad very, very quickly, didn't he? And know what was required, and didn't let anybody down in those 8 games.
No, he certainly did not. And I mean, I think we sort of aren't giving him enough credit, even because when he came on against Norwich, I think he only signed a couple of days before that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't even training with the squad. So he literally coming from the cold, and then to have to go on and come on for Alisson when he got injured. Absolutely brilliant. It's, an excuse from the beginning of the season was Liverpool lose key players and they'd be fucked. We lose our keeper in the first game, and it hasn't impacted us at all. As you said, he's made a few mistakes, 1 or 2 along the way, but nothing that's been punished as such, because we didn't lose anything. But you can't ask for more than that. You are right about Mignolet. If Mignolet had a start in those games, the fans would have been nervous. I'd say the team might have been a bit more nervous as well. Might have been sitting back, and I suppose it's no coincidence. We conceded a lot more goals during that period. But the more he got in the team, the more he was playing, the more solid he looked. So, yeah, couldn't have gone better, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, I just think, like when you look at the season we are looking to have, after losing the league on the last day of the season, okay, we go and win the European Cup. But then we're looking to really, there's no doubt we're looking to put a really, really fast start in, really solid, make a mark, and to have our goalkeeper go after 25 minutes. Some people probably thought, and listen, it's fair enough, oh geez, that's a massive miss. All right, Adrian has Premier League experience, but still coming into playing for West Ham and playing for Liverpool is night and day. It's there's no comparison. But they both do brilliantly, and like Andy, Alisson comes back, and he just looks like he's been never been away, doesn't it? He's just come in, made some big saves, made some standard saves that he's expected to make, but he spreads a massive confidence to the back four, doesn't he?
Yeah, but it is. It's his kind of leadership back there, is how well he commands his area, the confidence that he brings to the team. In fairness, the last 5 or 6 games, he's barely had to do much at all. I think it was the Leicester game? No, I'm trying to think back now. He had to pull off a couple of saves, but there's something about that man. He can make a little error and it doesn't drag on till the next, to the next time he's called upon. So that's what top players do. And last year he made a massive difference to us. I often talked about the points difference that like David De Gea kind of gains for United, and what would happen to us if we brought in a top goalkeeper like that. Would you be looking at like a 5-point swing or a 10-point swing? It's difficult to know because we've such a good defence now, but I'm absolutely sure like if we had a bad patch at the back, he'd save us an awful lot of games. Yeah. But look, he's there when we need him. He could be freezing cold all game, and then he'd pop up with a save, or he had to come off his line, take a ball, and his distribution there. Like, he's just everything about how we play. He's slotted in beautifully.
Yeah, just a couple of things on Adrian. Like Kev O'Sullivan says, imagine the feeling he got saving that pen that won the Super Cup. What a sporting story that is in its own. And Chris Brack says, how did West Ham think that clown Roberto was a better option than Adrian? It's really good because they suffered badly when they lost Fabianski for a period this season. I think they ended up with, I think he was a former Liverpool goalkeeper in goal for 1 or 2 games, David Martin. Am I right?
David Martin. Alvin.
Yeah, Glennar says that Adrian has made the save of the season so far. I'm presuming you're talking about the one away to Napoli. Where it's in the top. It's a brilliant one. Daz says Ali is the best goalkeeper in the world. Fact. Kev O'Sullivan says the game you're looking for, Andy, is the Watford game, where he makes a couple of saves. He thinks it's that one. But look, the goalkeepers really, really good in different ways for us this season. One standing in while our main man was out, and our main man has come back and hasn't looked like he hasn't been away. A little bit of rustiness. I think the biggest rustiness for me is probably with his feet. He doesn't look as good or as confident with his feet this season as he did last season. But look, it's just one of those things.
Could be just the injury just taking its toll on him as well. Maybe
it could be that, or he could be just
longer to get into it,
or he could be just being told, listen, don't prick around. You don't need to. But look.
I think before we leave the keepers as well, Gav, a bit of credit to John Achterberg, because he's took a lot of stick over the years for being a bit of a joke. Do you know what I mean? Because our keepers have always been a bit pony, but they seem to have a great setup there now, and nobody's complaining about them these days. Do you know? Well, I'm sure people are, but it's not as vocal as it was. Do you know what I mean? With Achterberg, I mean, even the likes of Lonergan and Kelleher, right? Well, they're not. Lonergan hasn't been seen. He has a good, strong Instagram game, so we keep you informed on everything in the training ground. So fair play to him for that. And Kelleher, right? He's had a few shockers, but you know, he's only a young lad getting in there. They've a good goalkeeping team at the club now. You know, it's good to see.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is good to see. And
can anyone even date back to where the whole thing about him came from?
The John Achterberg thing came, I'll tell you where it came from, in my opinion. John Achterberg has been at the club a long time at this stage. And when Pepe Reina's turn form went, I think what happened was the goalkeeping coach that was there with Benitez left. Or left just before Benitez left.
Yeah.
And Valera, was it?
Yeah,
Valera,
and Achterberg comes in, Reina falls off a cliff, and then you end up, he goes Mignolet, it's Brad Jones, you know, all the couple of keepers come along, even a couple of promising ones. There was one Italian fella, I know Phil rated, and I can't remember. Donny. You have these, and you see them all happening, and it just got to the stage where he went, listen, what's the common denominator? Keepers are falling off cliffs here. And, you know, it's one of those where Achterberg got the blame. No, I'm not saying there wasn't a period where there was a change, you know, in the crossover. There was probably bits and pieces went on with, say, Reina. But when you see Mignolet is let go for 8 million and the only club looking to take him is Club Brugge, I think that says a lot. Brad Jones has ended up in Holland. I don't know where Donny is, you know, this sort of thing. So, but I think it just shows the setup from the top of the club to the bottom now in every single facet is absolutely brilliant.
Yes, I mean, it'd be totally, like, you could make that argument of keepers are coming in and regressing, you know, and then moving on and becoming like superstars again. But that's not the case. His criticism was totally unfair. Like, there was a whole sort of circle of fans against him for a long time. You know, just like any of the little corners of fans that want to spout negativity all the time. There was an obsession with the goalkeeping coach. And I mean, our own Phil Casey was probably one of them too, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Phil, look, he loves the thing. If there's two things he loves to talk about, it's American football and goalkeepers. It's one of those, you know. But look, Avi Hansen says Reina's shot stopping was horrendous once Valero had left. Didn't Donny have a health problem in the end, says PW? I'm not too sure. Ray Brady just comes in with the usual Gavlar with loads of V's, loads of L's, loads of A's, and loads of R's.
But come here, like, so your man Valero heads
off.
Bogdan
is another one as well. Sorry, I forgot him as well.
Yeah.
How could you forget?
Go on, Andy.
Yeah, so your man Valero fucks off, and all of a sudden, Reina's shot stopping.
Yeah, I think he took his gloves from him when he left.
Can you honestly start blaming the goalkeeping coach because of that?
I don't know, but you see, the way you could look at that, Andy, is like if you're in work and you have a boss and he motivates you to work, and then another fella comes in and he doesn't really motivate you. Yeah, you could do that. It's the same as being in any job. If someone doesn't motivate you and the techniques aren't there to push you, you can't just get into a. I'm not saying it was done on purpose, but you can probably get into a period of, I suppose, just
Well,
not
like, you might
laziness,
have
but just
okay.
easy.
Might
It's
have had
easy
a
going, and it's kind of well settled, and everything's running the mill. That kind of way. Yeah, you could do that.
you might have had a relationship with the previous goalkeeping coach, which helped them perform better. But you have to remember at that time, the Spanish players were kind of all on the way out. Like things were kind of turning sour for the Spanish players. They all kind of wanted out.
Yeah. No, I know. I know. Listen, you're just asking the question. I think it is quite possible that a certain goalkeeping coach may not push you or have the wherewithal to push you as a certain level of goalkeeper. Maybe that's it. But right now, you can't really put that at Agderberg. It could have been a mix of both. It could have been what was going on with Rafa. It could have been the stuff during Kenny's time, Hodgson. Different managers, different techniques. You don't know, but it's probably something we could look at again. Somebody says there that Donny actually had a stroke while Kenny was there. I didn't know that. Avi Hanser tells that. I genuinely, if that happened, it completely passed me by. Look, let's get into the defenders. So I'm going to do them in groups. So I'm going to do fullbacks. So, it's Trent and Robertson. They've been more or less ever present this season, unless Milner steps in here or there, or Gomez goes out and do the odd job. But it's Trent and Robertson. And Andy, quite possibly, if not undoubtedly, the best fullback pairing in world football at the minute. They've both been utterly outstanding.
Yeah, last year there was a lot more competitive between the two of them for assists. Trent seems to be kicking his arse this year.
Well, there's only 3 in it.
Think that? No, you think that? Yeah, it's not even 3, and it'll stop you there.
Well, I suppose
the league, Trent has 8 and Robbo has 6. It's not much.
In the league,
yeah,
I thought it was a bit more. I thought he said, yeah, but no, I think it could be as well the assist to assist. What are they called? Hockey assists. Trent seems to be doing an awful lot of damage from right full, where he's playing it into a player who plays it in and we score a goal. Like, his influence over the game seems to just have it like that. Robertson's kind of in the shadows a little bit. The balls are always fed out to Trent now, and Robertson seems to be left kind of a little bit isolated now. There doesn't seem to be an urgency to get the ball out to Robertson as much anymore. I just think Trent has just come on leaps and bounds this year. Like, he's established himself now as probably the best fullback in the world.
Yeah,
he's the envy of everyone. There's not often you can say that a team are actually playing through their right back. Yeah. I certainly can't remember a team that's ever happened with. I think Robertson is like just a more authentic fullback. That's what he is. He's a fullback and he does that job bloody well. But what you have there with Trent is just a different animal. He's such a talented player who just happens to be playing right back, and he's reinvented the right back position. I feel. We probably need to get away from those traditional, like, positional terms when it comes to players like Trent Alexander. Like, the argument about movement in midfield. He already is playing in midfield. He's already playing an extremely creative role that Robertson probably doesn't play. But credit to the both of them. If you want to call them fullbacks and you want to call them a fullback pairing, yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's another team in the world who could boast them two.
Andy,
close to it.
We are talking about Trent after the Leicester game, when he was just phenomenal. To be perfectly honest with you, it was mesmerising watching him. What he was at, the assists, the goal, he was just the passing, everything about him. And the commentators at the time were raving about him. We raved about him afterwards. I said after the game, I think he's the best right back in the world. I think he walks into any team in the world, because when the top elite clubs look for a right full or a right back, this is, if you're going to prototype on this, he is it. And I would never move him from right back. Now, I seen you on Twitter the other day talking to a couple of people with regard to Trent Alexander-Arnold. What's your feelings on this? Because I would never move him from right back, because the way we play, as you said, he's not a right back. He's basically a quarterback that just happens to be on the right-hand side of the pitch. What way do you see it?
Well, I think that might have been with Matt, was it?
It may have been.
Matt was kind of saying that he won't be playing right back for much longer. Well, I disagree with that. I think if he was playing right back, yeah, he's far too talented to be playing right back, but he's not really playing as a traditional right back. He's getting so much freedom. He's finding himself all over the pitch. He's coming into midfield. He's, linking up with the attack. He's getting shots on goal. He's crossing balls in from deep. He's crossing balls in from the byline. He's getting a huge amount of freedom to play his football. Every single game you watch, he's probably matching your deeper midfielder for amount of passes. So, is there any need to really move a player into midfield who's already kind of doing a hybrid job?
Yeah, that's my point.
And you talk about
most elite clubs, Andy. Most elite clubs, if they're playing football a certain way, will have their fullbacks that high up the pitch.
They'll have their fullbacks high up the pitch, but he's that bit more involved than even that.
But you see, we talk about Chris Brack makes a good point there. He said Trent will only move from right back if Klopp is going to change how our midfield plays. Our midfield, for the majority, is functional. It presses, it wins balls, it nicks balls, it passes well, it gets the ball as quickly as they can to our full-backs, in inverted commas, and our front three. I don't want to see Trent in the midfield running around chasing, pressing. I want to see him on right back and saying, if you want to stop us down the left or through the centre, you still have all this to worry about. I don't want to see that move. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have somebody on here that would be, complete advocate for a midfield Trent, and tell me where in the midfield do you want him to play. Do you want him to play the deeper role? Do you want him to play box to box? Do you want him to play maybe like Kate has been playing lately and carry the ball on?
Glenner would like to see him in the 6. His distribution would suit well, he reckons.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he'd do very well there, but God, you're going to miss the crossing aspect. Yeah. His delivery is one of the best in world football at the moment. He has that whip that very few players can boast of, in the game at the moment. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne, and then in the past Beckham and Stevie G. I don't know. Put him at the 6, and he doesn't get into those advanced roles with balls in.
Exactly. There's loads of comments coming in here, and I'm going to get to Keith, and I'm going to give him Andy Robertson in a second. But Avi Hansel says there's no need to move him there yet, at least for a couple of years. He also reckons it depends on Hoover's development, which could enable Trent to play in midfield. Maverick says Trent is not a conventional right back. He is a brand new breed of right back. In the future, it will be called the Trent Alexander-Arnold role. Exactly, a hybrid right back. Shaq says Trent can spin the ball better than the English cricket team. Kev O'Sullivan makes the point that Danny Alves never moved from right back, nor did Marcelo from left, and you see how high they play. Chris reckons that he's playing a similar position to what De Bruyne does, so why move him? He does hit a lot of ball. From areas that you would see De Bruyne do it, just in off the right hand touchline and whipping balls in. He does do similar to that. Chris Brack says Kev Walsh on the Anfield Rap is a big advocate of Trent moving to midfield. He may be, but I'm a big advocate of him never moving from there. I think if we continue to play this football, he's an absolute weapon where he is, and I think if you were to move him into midfield, you take a little bit of that away, like Andy said. What else?
Gav, you're just on one for that point. We're a team now that you look at last night. Milner ran something like 13.5 kilometres. We're a team that works very, very hard on the ball. Now I know, when you haven't got the ball, you work a bit harder, but I think we work extremely hard on the ball as well, in terms of getting them moving around quick and making runs. But what Trent does, he makes the ball work very hard. He gets the ball into positions that it will take kind of 2 or 3 passes normally. So, in terms of how we play and how we go about our game, Trent makes the ball work hard and kind of gives the players a little bit less to do.
Yeah. Maverick, the final point on it, Maverick says absolutely no need for Trent to move to midfield. What's more likely is that we source different types of midfielders that continue to allow Trent's hybrid right back role to evolve. Going on to Andy Robertson, Keith, we've talked about his assists, and I was watching a video earlier of Grizz, who was on 90minute.com, discussing the best I think it was actually the best left back. It was best left back in the world.
Left backs,
yeah. And there was lads on there where I mentioned the lad at Barcelona, Alba, who's a terrific left back and stuff like that.
And Alba at Bayern, yeah.
Yeah, and different types of players. But again, I'm going to put it out there. I think he's the best left back on the planet as well. Because, as Grizz pointed out quite correctly, his will to win, his energy, his engine, but not only that, he's a good footballer. He has assists. He's cool when he gets into those positions. Look at Salah's goal last night. He times it to perfection, the weight of his perfection. He has everything, doesn't he, Keith? And like, what is he? Is he 26, 27 years of age? Is he 26 maybe? I think he's in around that. I don't look up players' ages.
25.
But is he? Okay.
25.
Loads of room to improve there. But just when you look at what Trent does as nearly a complete footballer on one side, Robertson on the left is just no nonsense, up and down, up and down. And as Mourinho said when he played against Liverpool last season, he got tired watching him. That's how good he was. How good is he, and how good can he get?
He's sensational, to be honest. To me, this is the Andy Robbo year, because while Trent's getting all the headlines for the play, and rightly so, Robertson is turning into the snidiest little player we have, and I, for one, absolutely love it. It's something that we haven't really had over the years, and Andy Robbo has decided now that he's the man for that, and tell you, couldn't be happier. Didn't see it coming from him, to be honest. Thought he was a nice, quiet little Scottish chap, but now it turns out he's a little bollocks, which I'm all for. But his play, when you look at Liverpool playing, he plays a lot higher up than Trent does. Trent will sit back that little bit and look to get his crosses in from deeper. Robbo is constantly overlapping and getting to the byline. And it's just such an outball for Trent even. Like, how many goals do we get from Trent switching? And the other time he left torn and trying to see where it's going. The next thing, Robbo's gone like a greyhound down the wing. It's just beautiful to watch. I agree. Best fullback, best left back in the world, the best fullback pairing in the world. I watched the thing with Grizz earlier as well, and some of the shouts, Benjamin Mendy and all, like, you joke me, some mad shouts. There's nobody that's touching this fella. To be honest, Alba is good, but Alba's best years are behind him. The same with Alaba at Bayern Munich, best years behind him. I think Robbo's the best by a country mile.
Yeah, he is, and Mendy's mentioned that at City. I think he started off magnificently at City. He's been very unlucky with injuries, but he's nearly become a little bit of a parody because he's talked about more about his social media than he does his football at this stage.
Yeah,
with Andy Robertson, I know where you're coming from. The confidence that he's gained from being in this Liverpool side, and he's able to come out on social media and say different things, and he does it in a certain way that he doesn't get himself into trouble, but he makes his point, and I love it. I love someone that has that confidence. And we went on for years about not having players that had the bottle or the balls are supposed to stand up the players on the pitch and stuff like that. You watch Andy Robertson, and he's come up against the best Messi, he's come up against Neymar, and he hasn't backed off an inch. He just refuses to. And
disrespect he showed Messi that time.
And didn't care. And got interviewed after the semi-final and basically went, yeah, Suarez done you there, and Messi, and he went, yeah, but who's in the final? So he's one of those. He's absolutely brilliant. He's had an outstanding season. There's going to be a lot of players like that in this review where they've just had an outstanding season, because that's how it's gone. But
come here till I ask you this: how many do you think? How many of Robertson's assists have come from Trent's balls?
I don't know. I would suggest. You'd probably have to go and look it up. I would suggest that quite a few of them have come off Van Dijk's though. It seems to be a very, very big ploy where Mane drops in centrally a little bit, pulls the full back slightly, and Robertson's around the back, and Van Dijk's looking for that all the time. Jar says easy on the Alaba stuff. He's only 27. He has lots in the tank. Let me see. As good as Cafu and Roberto Carlos pair at fullback. Slightly different than what they do for me. Cafu, brilliant engine up and down, really cultured footballer. I don't think he has the on the ball prowess that Trent has. Left back Carlos, fucking weapon of a left foot. Again, up and down, up and down. I don't know. It's very hard to compare, but right now I wouldn't swap either of them for anything. I really wouldn't. And Andy, moving on to centre halves, Andy, and I suppose it's Virgil van Dijk in one category, and then you have the other three in the other, and it's not because of ability. Well, it probably is, but it's to do with injuries and consistency and stuff like that. What are you making of this season? Because, Virgil has been fucking, he's 8, 9, 10 out of 10 every week. Then you're looking at Matip starts off the season, gets injured. Lovren comes in, gets injured. Gomez, who had a shaky start when he come in and was trying to, get games under his belt, looked shaky. He's come in now and looked fabulous for the last half a dozen games or so.
Yeah.
What way would you rank them this season?
Well, as you often get said that no matter who plays next to Van Dijk, they end up being quality. which is a little, it's kind of there's a bit of a disrespect towards the player that comes in, because credit to Matip, credit to Lovren when he's played, and credit to Gomez. They've held their own as well. And one thing about this season, I'm not saying Van Dijk has dropped off at all, but he certainly last year he was just invincible. And this season, there's been times where he's might have looked a bit more human than he did last year. I think it might be to do with the high line, and he's got himself in one-on-one situations a lot where, look, it's a 50-50 scenario. He's been excellent in 90% of them. But whoever's played beside him, whether it's been Matip, Gomez or Lovren, they've all bailed him out a couple of times.
Yeah.
And credit to them, they've been excellent. There was a couple of games there where Lovren was even better than him. And at the end of last season, there was quite a few games, a run of games where Matip was better than him. And Gomez now in the last 3 games, I'd say, has really come back to Gomez as he was last Christmas, and he's been excellent. So I don't like to hear that comment about, you know, whoever plays next to Van Dijk, because anyone could play there. You could play a Grandad there. It's a bit unfair on the players who themselves have been excellent. So look, I like Gomez above them all. I think for a team like we play that plays high, that has to make a few recoveries, that sometimes if there's a loose ball in midfield and it gets played forward and it's a 1v1 scenario, Gomez is the one with all the pace, and I think Gomez is the one that just looks like a class act beside Van Dijk. If Gomez can stay fit, I think there's probably no better pair in the world again. And maybe we're getting carried away, like by saying with the best goalkeeper in the world, with the best full-back partnership in the world. And I'm saying it now, we've the best centre-back partnership in the world. But look, at the moment, this is our heyday now. Like this in our generation, this is the best Liverpool team. And right now, they're favourites for everything. They're favourites for the league. They're favourites for the Champions League again. They're the envy of everyone. Every player in the world wants to play for them. It's realistic to suggest anybody could play for Liverpool right now, as long as they have the work rate required. But I think Gomez and Van Dijk, once they're both fit, Gomez is fit, there's nothing to touch them.
No, I agree with you on the Gomez thing. Maverick asks, is this a review? What about the Everton game? We will touch on the Everton game later, absolutely. Chris says whoever's partner in VVD has stepped up because they know there is competition. There's competition, but the funny thing is, the player that comes in is the one that's targeted all the time, because you don't go near Van Dijk and Robertson most of the game. So you are targeted, and you probably have to be more on it than Van Dijk and Robertson are over that side of the pitch. You know, Matip starts off well, gets the injury. I'm getting a bit worried over him, just because of the length of time he's out. Lovren hasn't surprised me that he's out, and it won't surprise me how long he'll be out for. The fact Nat Phillips has been taken back from Germany is a real worry. That's break glass fucking stuff, you know what I mean, when you're bringing back a player that's out on loan in a centre-half position. So them two is a worry for me. Maverick says VVD is a phenomenon, pure and simple. To think he's been under the radar till KLOPP came along is amazing. Gomez and VVD, no better partnership in Europe. Pace the born, says Daz. Keith, you know, we leave Van Dijk because he's just been outstanding. But does this Matip Lovren thing worry you? And you know, are you apart from what's going on with them two, are you just hoping that Gomez stays fit for obvious reasons, but for himself as well? Because I do feel he has a chance to basically say to Jurgen Klopp, me and Virgil van Dijk are going to look after this for the next 5 years and nobody's touching us.
Yeah, I mean, first point, like with Matip and Lovren, they do have histories of getting injured and then not exactly getting back quick. You know, Matip must be out bleeding. Jeez, nearly half a season gone now. You know, he's a real worry, because it's never seems serious when he goes out, and then he's gone for months on end. Which is a shame, because I think the whole thing with Nat Phillips, I just think it's a case of, right, these two could be another month or two, but before they're all back, and we need another body in there. And that's why I'd say Nat Phillips is after getting the call back. I was just looking there at the ages of them. You know, Van Dijk's 28, Matip's 28, Lovren's 30. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see us go big on a centre-back in the summer. Maybe a younger centre-back just to blood in there. But if let's say we had all 4 of these lads fit and ready to go, which we never seem to do, but if we did, like, would you be worried with a Gomez and Matip partnership for a few games? I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Or a Lovren, whereas before I certainly would have been, but I think now the confidence levels in everybody has just gone up. I don't think it. I'm not talking about an extended period. I'm on about 2 games or even a game. You know what I mean? Whereas before, Van Dijk can't be rested because we've only ever got one other centre back available.
Not if we're 16 points clear. Winning the game in hand, it wouldn't be. But you wouldn't want to have a sustained period of time without Van Dijk, in my opinion.
I'm not talking about injury wise, but lads, I'm saying more, for a rest.
I tell you, I
before them are fit. Now I think if you were to pair 2 with the other 3 up for a game or 2, I think it wouldn't be an issue now. Whereas
Lovren would be my worry. And the reason why, and listen, don't get me wrong, Lovren's had some really, really good games this season. He's dropped 1 or 2. He's made 1 or 2 mistakes. I think away at Genk, I think it was. He just decided he was the best defender in the world, and then decided he didn't want to defend anymore.
That's his problem. And
that's my worry, because he becomes. There's a Lovren where he's front foot and he's aggressive and he's a decent turn of pace and he wins balls, and then there's a Lovren that's overcompensates and goes beyond front foot and gets caught on the balls, gets caught in around the sides and around the back and stuff like that. He'd be my worry. Matip, I think, is the coolest head out of the 3 of them. Gomez has, I know you look at who has the biggest, the highest bar he can reach, or the highest ceiling he can reach, and Gomez is the easy one because he's 23 or 24 years of age, and that's probably an easy argument to make because look, he's 5, 6 or 8 years younger than one of them anyway, or 6 years younger, sorry. So Lovren would be my worry there. If you were to give me a Van Dijk out, I would be looking at Matip and Gomez. I think they complement each other well. One is very calm, and like you said, one has pace to absolutely burn. But again, we've managed that well, Andy, haven't we? This has happened at a crucial enough part of the season, and they've happened on top of each other, and we seem to have managed it fairly well, and hopefully this sorts itself out in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it will. Like, Klopp always finds a way. When we didn't sign a centre half, and there was talk of Lovren even leaving in August, fans are piling in and saying Klopp is taking risks and everything else. But when Alden's played there, Fabinho's played there, I wouldn't have any problem with one of the other youngsters coming in there as well. I'm sure they'd be fine. We don't defend for long periods of games. We're not as reliant on really good centre backs. We just want someone decent there that can mop up when needs be. I do think, and I've probably been saying it for a couple of summers, between Matip and Lovren, I think one of them will probably have to go.
Yeah, Cop 80 says Lovren will go in the summer. Yeah,
we can't have this scenario every season where neither of them can maintain their fitness. Like, it's constantly being a juggle between the 2 of them, who's kind of next up. Now you've Gomez in the picture now since last season, but between the 2 of them, it's not even like one of them has to have a stinker and then the other one just gets in. It's just one gets injured and then the other one gets in, and then before you know it, the other player's in, and then they get injured. So I'd like to see someone different coming in that can at least be fit, and at least that takes that extra concern out going forward. So I would suppose the likely one more so would be Lovren because he was nearly gone, and just bring someone of a reasonable standard that can fucking be there when needs be.
Andy, are you listening to violin playing in the background?
Yeah. Well, I lower it down.
Well, if you could, please. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm fucking in last of the summer wine here. There, it's gone. Thanks. It was just really screeching in my ear. But look, again, as an overview on the back 4, they've performed really well. I think we may have conceded the least amount of goals in the league now at this stage. Yeah, I think
the top 5 leagues in Europe, I think we've the best defence.
Yeah, so there you go. They've all performed well when they've had to come in and out. Our only worry at the moment will probably be just getting either Matip or Lovren back just to have in the squad. If you're going to stick with Gomez, just get one of them back just for that little bit of security. Now, midfield. So this is where it's gone. Fucking fireworks will probably go off, right? But I want to take them in a group again. So I'm going to put Henderson and Fabinho in the same group, because although Henderson at the back end of last season starts in that advanced role and continues into this season, Andy's watching the Late Late Show, says Kev O'Sullivan. Andy, you are not, are you?
I'm not watching that. I'm fully concentrated on this podcast.
Was that the Late Late Show you had on?
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't put it on because we're talking about Marion Finucane.
Right, notions, no problem. Right, but taking Henderson starts the season in that advanced role. Fabinho then a couple of weeks back hurts himself. He's out. He's back running now, but I've heard so. He's on the road to recovery, and hopefully we see him by the end of January. That's my hope. But I'm gonna class them two in together, because Henderson, I think the standout games from, although he was good in that advanced role, I think the standout games from has been in the 6. So, Andy, the both of them hit me, because I think Fabinho was absolutely awesome until he got injured, and I think Henderson has just continued that on. Am I wrong, or am I deluded? Tell me I'm wrong.
What could you be wrong about there? They've both been excellent in that role. It's hard to know like how this has all come about. Like Henderson is certainly playing that 6 role a little bit differently than he has done in the past. Previously he's been a lot more robotic, like just recycling the ball, getting the balls out to the creative players and Trent and Robertson. But this season he's since he's come in, since Fabinho's went, he's become a bit more of a playmaker, and he's getting the license to spray balls and show that he can pass balls. He's played some of the best balls of the season after, I suppose, Trent. His range of passing has been excellent. And for a long time, like, fans were criticising him, saying that what are standout strengths? He's not able to pick out a pass. He's not able to do this, that and the other. And I mean, I knew he could, because he has done it for Liverpool before. When he came in, and especially 13-14, when his range of passing was excellent, and he was instrumental in that title push that year. And when he did get suspended, I think that's where our league challenge really failed. But no, the way he's played that deeper role in recent games has been excellent, and the way he's played in the advanced role has been excellent. So. Absolute, such an important player right now is Henderson, and the last couple of days we've listened to people talking about how he's finally got the recognition. Well, he got recognition for a long time from most of the fans, and most people valued him and appreciated him and listened to the manager. And when the manager talked about how important he is, but the other people, the ones that weren't so supportive of him, the pennies dropped. So good news.
Keith, when you look at Henderson, and people have said we haven't missed Fabinho. You know what? I disagree a little bit, because I think we've had to chop and change in midfield a little bit too much for Klopp's liking, although it has worked. But when you look at, like, I think Andy's covered them two brilliantly. They've both played absolutely brilliantly, and we're hoping that one of them will be back by the end of January. Keith, I'm going to give you Wijnaldum is obviously another one in there, and I'm going to drop Keita in there beside him. Now, Wijnaldum has looked tired at times. He's been exceptional at times. He's been really good at times. I'm not going to go as far as saying a mixed season, but his levels have dropped a little bit at times, and that's absolutely fine. He had a mad amount of games at one stage when he was literally playing for Holland every minute for Holland, and then coming back and playing every minute for us. So I think Wijnaldum, 8 out of 10 for the season so far, and hopefully kicks on and continues that. But I want to give you Keita. And Keith, the reason I want to give you Keita is because he splits opinion amongst us in the LFC Day Troopers. I think he definitely splits opinion in the fan base. For me, I love him as a player. I think he has all the ability in the world. It's getting him on the pitch. He got on there and showed glimpses. More than glimpses. I think it's unfair to say glimpses. I think he showed the quality he has. He was assisting. He was scoring. He looked great. He pulls out of the game last night due to what he felt his groin after hitting a shot in the warm up. How's he been for you? And just take her on the games he's played, because we knew he was being nursed back. And what do you hope this injury is? Is it just something minimal, Keith, that he can come back and it's just a little blip in the road and might do him good, a little bit of good, that another little week off and get going again for Spurs? What have you made of him?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a fan of Naby Keita. I like what he can bring to the team and what he has shown when he's got the runs of games that he needed. Now, when that was last season, the back end of last season, he started to come into his own, and then there just before the Christmas he was starting to come into his own. But it's the same old thing with him. It's these little niggly injuries. I think he's been unfortunate because he's last season he was picking up a bit of form, and then he got a knock at the end of the season. But then when he went off to the AFCON, he was ruled out for 2 months, and the Guinea manager rushed him back after about 5 days. Didn't help him out at all, sent him back, and he's constantly now chasing his tail. He's what I'd say about him at the moment is he's an excellent squad option to have. He's something different to all the other midfielders. We don't have one like him. I think, in fact, the nearest thing we're going to get to him will be Minamino when he comes in that he'll be able to carry the ball, he'll be able to beat players, and he'll be very forward thinking. All our midfielders have certain qualities, and they are all are forward thinking, despite what people say. They're all very attack minded, but not overly attacking minded, but their first thought is to get the ball forward. Even Henderson, despite what people will say, Fabinho is always looking to get in there. Keita is the one that, more so than Oxlade-Chamberlain, I just think his dribbling ability is something that we don't have in the others, and I'd love to see him getting a run of games. But the question about that is, he doesn't get into our best team at the moment. Our best midfield, when all are fit, for me, is Fabinho, Henderson and Wijnaldum. And I'm a big Naby Keita fan, but I can't see him breaking that midfield. So he's a squad option, and it'll be a stick that's used to beat him. £53 million for a squad option. Had to wait a year for him for a squad option. We were told he was this, and he's a squad option. But there's nothing wrong with that. If he can get him fit and get him forward, and he'd be an excellent addition to that midfield. And he might move other people out of midfield down the line, but at the moment, still waiting for him really to blow us away. Hasn't happened yet, but plenty of time. He's only about 24 as well. He's not old.
No, he's not old, and look, I think you're right. I think that the whole injury thing, like a lot of people have come in here, Shaq says he's absolutely brilliant and a clever player. He's just been unlucky with injuries. Chemical Kev says Keita is fantastic to watch recently, very graceful on the ball. Somebody else does come in there and go, look, you can't even rank him because of the inconsistency in his availability. Rocket says we just need patience with him. He's a quality player, but unlucky with injury. Love watching him. Yeah, listen, we've seen players come back from injury being nursed through very well, and a little twinge comes here and there. It happens all the time. The problem is, and I have said this before, if it continues this season and into next season, then it's just he is an injury-prone player, and how much standing can you give him in a squad if it continues to go on like that? Andy, Lallana and Oxlade-Chamberlain are the other two. I'm going to leave Milner till last, and I'm going to take Milner myself. Lallana and Oxlade-Chamberlain. Lallana in the last couple of weeks has come in, put in some really good performances. I think he's just one of those where he's going to drop in and out of games between now and the end of the season. You'll probably see him in 10, 12 of the 18 games that's left in substitute appearances and stuff like that. But fair play to him. Oxlade-Chamberlain, another injury's come along, and although it's not as prolonged and as the Keita situation, it's happened to him again. He's very unlucky. But what have you made of both of them this season?
Yeah, well, look, Lallana's just been a bonus. The fact that we've been able to bring Lallana in, and he got the equaliser against United, and he's had a couple of other impact performances as well. For me, it's just been a bonus to give other players a rest, to just have someone come off the bench. And Keith talked about the snide from Robertson earlier on. Well, Lallana pisses the opposition off as well.
Yeah.
And
Even though he's 7 stone wet through, he does annoy people.
yeah, he jumps into players and he makes a nuisance of himself. And look, unfortunately, his career didn't go quite the way you would have hoped with Liverpool. Started off not too bad, but ravaged with injuries. I think fans got on his back over all of that and still out of his control. I probably never really pictured him coming back in and playing as many games as he has this season, even though he's not played too many. But he's look, I can't fault him. He certainly hasn't been shite when he's played, and he's been asked to play different roles from under KLOPP that people would have never imagined him kind of doing. He's much more of a grafter now than he was under Rodgers. And then of course Ox, I'm a massive Ox fan. I think between him and Kate, they're the two kind of players, and obviously Minamino now who can do it, who can carry the ball from midfield to attack, and just do that without a pass. They pull defenders on the back foot and drag defenders out of position, and that's what Ox offers. And I just think it's unfortunate for him that he's picked up the injury, but again, he was starting to find the same sort of form as he had 2 seasons ago. So hopefully he can come back and have a bit of a say. I mean, between the two of them, you obviously want Ox back a hell of a lot more, because he can have such an impact and he can become such an important player. Like, he never used to even score for Arsenal, even though they talked him up as an attacking player. He never used to score or assist or anything. And since he's played for us, he's been phenomenal in that department. So, again, another quality player in the squad.
Yeah. Rocket says there, we don't win a league without the likes of LaLana. It's plain and simple. I know where he's coming from. You need players to come in. Kev says...
Just say something on all those options there. Keith kind of, brought up Kate and mentioned him as a squad option. Like, you have a lot of players there who would expect to play a lot of football now. When you look at Ronaldo, Henderson, Fabinho, Keita, Minamino coming in, Ox, Milner, Lallana. That's 8 players there, is it?
In around, yeah. I think it is 8.
Three
When you add Minamino in, yeah.
Fucking hell, like, that's 3 positions.
Yeah, but listen, that's all about how good you manage your squad and how tight the squad are. They do look like a squad that if we've 3 games a week, or 7, 8 games in a month, and one fella plays 1 and the other fella plays 7, the fella that's playing all the games in the month probably isn't putting in as much work and training as the fella that's doing 1. The fella that's doing 1 is not being disheartened by it. He's putting everything he possibly can in for the squad, because he knows come match day what he's done Monday to Friday is helping whoever's playing anyway, and he's ready to go. You look at the other night, Keita pulls out with 10 to 8, Andy. Milner is on as a sub, and Milner says straight after it, no, we're always in the right mindset, we're ready to go. All I had to do was literally take my fucking tracksuit off and I'm good. It's not like I need give me a 10-minute tactical briefing. He just went and said, yeah, 10 minutes, yeah, we're kicking off in 10 minutes,
and not only that, dropping something like that happens. I mean, but years ago when Gerrard was playing in Cagar, you could tell by them the body language and some of the expressions. They knew some of the shy bags they were playing with went up to it, and they wouldn't be passing to them, or they would be, getting on their case after every mistake. Like, Adam Lallana comes into this team, like, there's nobody thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. Well, the fans are thinking, but the players, you can tell, they just get on with it. It's a small squad, but they all seem to trust each other. They all know each other's ability, and I think that's shown. We lose Lallana, we lose Keita, we lose Ox, but we'll always sort of have one of them. And even then, like, as Andy said, that's 8 midfielders for 3 positions. We throw Shaq in there into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, you know what? I don't think Shaqiri's played enough. I don't think Shaqiri's played enough this season to rate him.
What I'm saying is, he's another option that, even though we only have these fellas that are missing for games and games, like that, they're all coming in and doing a stint and getting us through our those tricky patches. We've got to now, and they've all done a SALAH for us.
We're only halfway there, Gav.
Yeah, I know, but like, so far, this I can't do a review of the season, a full season in December. And for me, You know,
Well, you can't because
no, I can't.
Minamino's going to be deadly.
Yeah, well, I got to get on to him, but look, overall, the majority of the midfielders when we need them have stood up and played. I include Lallana in that, Oxlade-Chamberlain at times. There's been a bit of unfortunate circumstances with regards to injury, and that happens, but we seem to be covering it quite well. Got Milner. I love him, absolutely love him. Everything he does, he'll play left back, he'll play right back. He comes in there on 10 minutes notice the other day, not a bother to him. He's lashing, he's taking the piss with penalties. Someone else said there earlier, you don't win a league without the likes of a Lallana coming in. You definitely don't win it if you don't have the likes of a Milner. Because for me, on the pitch, he's done absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. He's had some brilliant games. He's had some just bog standard 6 out of 10s when you need him to do a job. He's done something in between both of them at times. But I'd say his influence off the pitch is off the scale. And I mean off the scale, because I think he's just that hard working, that professional, and that driven. Because you have to remember, all right, he's won a league title. He's probably won 2 league titles at City. I think he's won 2.
Yeah.
Okay, he's won 2 at City, but I can tell you something, and no, I'm not putting City's league titles down. Milner's looking at this going 33, going 34, a new contract, and I could literally go down as, you know, an absolute hero at this club, like every member of that 25-man squad will do if they go and win the title. And he's just so fucking driven, and he's a massive, massive asset to this club. Not this season, not only this season, but next season and seasons beyond, whatever role he's in. Because I would hate to see him finish his contract in Liverpool, let him go and do something else. I'd love to see him involved. You know, because people go on about Gerrard and Alonso and Hippier. Listen, Milner is the sort of fella that if you gave him the under 8s to fucking manage, he'd be in at 6 in the morning, putting stuff in place and making sure that these under 8s are as fucking drilled and driven as he is. I just love the man from day one to whenever he decides to hang up the boots. I absolutely love the man. Rocket says Milner is a champion, a true leader, 100% heart, desire and influence. He's so important to us. Milner, Chris reckons that Milner is clearly loving it more at Liverpool than he did at City. And Jerry says Milner's work ethic is class. See the vid when they were playing, keep ball going mad. Yeah, he's so professional.
What was that? Keep ball going mad?
When they were playing keep ball, he was going mad during the game. So just a little drill. Go on, Andy.
The other night on the club we discussed a question that was asked about who KLOPP would sign.
Oh, you love this question, Andy.
Yeah, I just thought it was an amazing question, and it was very thought-provoking.
It was a listener to this show, Carl Duffy, does be on watching on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Top question. Fair play to Carl. But you know, to kind of think about, you know, to get inside Klopp's head and think who he would have signed and who he would have picked. I think he would have signed Milner years ago. Yeah. Like if he knew what he knows about Milner now, he would have signed him for Liverpool years ago. And what he would give now, would say, to get a 20-year-old Milner into the team. You just cannot say enough good things about Milner. It's really struck me this season, thinking about it, how important Milner is and how you need these leaders, how you need these winners, and to just have his book there and all. Again, like everything about him is just he sleeps and breathes football, and an absolute. He's going to go down as a legend, and I don't say that lightly. He's going to go down as a legend. We signed 3 players in the past who worked out very well, like McAllister, but they were a little bit on the kind of cult side, if you know what I mean. We fell in love with them for more than football reasons, but purely football and purely what he gives. He kind of Milner, what Milner does for the team, he's like represents the fans so well. I know he's not a Scouser, but his ethos and how he, for me anyway, how he resonates with the Liverpool people and what he gives for the club, he just represents the club so well, and I just wish we had him for a bit longer. So yeah, Milner.
But when he signed his contract, it was like, I'm sure everyone celebrated, you know, how often get that when was he 32, 33-year-old signs a new 2-year deal, you know. 33, I mean, oh, a man signing a new 2-year deal, you know, and that says loads from him. He's just stepped up. I agree with Andy there, you know, he epitomises everything that Klopp and Klopp's teams are all about. Like, I'd say, yeah, if Klopp knew what he would look.
Keith's at the break in his internet, isn't he, Andy?
Yeah,
So whatever, you know, we would have.
Yeah. Keith keeps going in and out there as he's talking.
I think Keith's watching
the late show
on the internet.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you stop streaming the late on Nilo sat there and just come back to the show? Look, lads, we have to get on to the forwards, right? And you know, grouping them into four: Andy, Mane, Salah, Firmino, Origi. I think Mane has been our best forward this season. I don't think there's much argument. I think Salah has blown hot and cold a little bit, but is starting to really, really look good. I think the most contentious one is probably Firmino, and Origi's come in and out when he's needed to, but they're just doing their job, Andy, aren't they? And they're starting to look like it, even when they need to drop Origi in every now and then, it's starting to look a lot more natural.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot you can say about Mane other than he's the best footballer in the world at the moment. And you couldn't pick a single weakness in this game. He's unfucking believable. So you don't have to spend an awful lot of time talking. Salah, on the other hand, yeah, he started off the season a little bit slow, but he was still cropping up with a couple of goals and assists, and I think he's done that. This is his third season with Liverpool. He's always started off a little bit slow, but he's still unfucking believable. Like, he's still one of the top scorers in the league, and he's still having the impact throughout games. Firmino, I think he's always blown a bit hot and cold. It's only now, because we're so good, it gets highlighted a bit more that if somebody's not quite performing to 110%, for instance, that they're getting noticed. But you have to remember, even when Firmino's not playing well and he's not coming up with goals, or he's not coming with, the creative game that we get used to when he's on form, he's still doing an awful lot. He's still dragging the players around. He's impossible to mark. Like, this idea of a false nine, it's very difficult for the opposition to know exactly how to handle him. Do they follow him out? Who do they pass him on to? Is the player that passed him on to already busy with somebody else? So I thought last night his movement was formidable. I thought it was brilliant, his movement, but it's just his touch was off, and his weight on his pass was a little bit off. Other than that, he was excellent.
Yeah, I think the goal return is one thing that can be thrown at him, Andy. Although when you actually look at the amount of chances he gets and converts, it's probably a decent conversion rate. But at times I feel that Liverpool being so good, people have to pick something from somewhere, and the Firmino thing is an easy thing to do when you look at the amount of games he's played and goals scored and stuff like that. But listen, I think we may have scored the most goals in the league as well. I think we're fairly close to it. I think it's either us or City, if I remember rightly. Leicester are thereabouts as well, but there's nothing wrong with our goal scoring records this season. I think we're 20 games in. I think Mane has 11 and Salah has 10. Would I be right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think City scored more than us. We're second ahead of Leicester.
Yeah. So, but there's nothing wrong with the goal scoring things. Origi has been used quite sparingly, I think, throughout the start of this season, the first half of the season. But going into the second half of the season, I can see him being more involved. And when I always find when teams tire, and they do in the second half of the season, the levels drop in the second half of the season for me, for most teams. Origi's perfect because he's so big, strong, direct, fast, and he'd be he's literally just. He's on. I'd say the cunt is on charge, ready to go for Sunday because we're playing Everton. It's one of those. But overall, lads, Andy, give me a rating out of 10 for the squad so far on this halfway through this season.
For the squad,
yeah,
we couldn't possibly give them less than 10.
Okay, I would have let you give them 11.
20 then.
Well, no, I said 11, Andy. Don't you know what I mean?
Right, they can have the maximum amount, no matter what that maximum is.
Okay.
I cannot reinforce this point enough. This is the best Liverpool team of your life.
It depends how old you are.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does. It all depends what happens. It all depends what they have in their hands come May, because they can be as fucking good as they want if they're not if they're not lifting shiny things in May, they won't go down as the best team you've ever
Well,
seen.
they lifted 3 shiny things in the last 6 months.
Not the one that matters.
And the one that
The
matters,
flutes in the hand in May because they
the one
lifted the
that
Premiership with Fairfield.
the one that matters, they have one hand on it already, and let's not make any bones about it. That if that was another team, we have handed them the league already.
Yeah.
City are waving the white flag.
Yeah.
They're going through the motions now. They don't look the same team.
No.
Leicester cannot touch us.
No.
It's going to take something of catastrophic fucking proportions. Like
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To prevent us winning the league. I'm telling you now, it's the best football team you're going to see in your life, Liverpool team. As a Liverpool supporter, I was only born in the 80s, so I can't say I experienced football in the 80s. I watched a lot of them on video, but the consumption of football we experience now, we get to see every single Liverpool game, and we get to see it in detail, we get to see it multiple times, and we get to see it done to death, like reviewed. We know more about our football team than we ever would have, but right now I can absolutely fucking tell you with certainty, you won't see a better one. This is fucking the best Liverpool team you'll see of your lifetime, and you better start enjoying it if you're not. People were talking about last night's performance as drab. It was described on the Echo podcast. Fuck off, seriously. If you didn't enjoy that last night, you need to just find another sport.
The Echo called it drab.
Some fella on an Echo podcast called it drab.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, like, how the context or whatever probably didn't sound as bad if you listen to it, but this was the word that was getting used, banging around Twitter today, and I just find that so ridiculous. I don't know what you're expecting to get out of football if you're not enjoying this Liverpool team at the moment. In every way possible, they're winning games. They're absolutely bossing the league. Sheffield United have been excellent this season. Nobody has done what Liverpool did to them last night, and no team will do it to them again this season. They're excellent under that manager. They're brilliant. They're playing football the way it should be. They're full of effort and work rate, but they were blown away. They were shell-shocked last night. They couldn't cope with Liverpool. We nearly passed the ball 1,000 times.
Yeah, ridiculous.
How fucked up is that?
Yeah. No, look, the passing thing for me is it's not a massive thing, but I think when you go into a game after a big, busy festive period like that and you're willing to put that amount of passes, you're basically telling yourself, we're going to rest on the ball here and we're going to make them run and just put them into submission, and that's what they did. Chris has him down as 9 out of 10, and the scariest thing is that we can get better. Glenna says, me bollocks is Andy under 40. It made me laugh, that one. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was born in the 80s. Would you fucking stop? Maverick says, Alonso, Gerrard, Mascherano. I don't know what that's about, but we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Max says, we are good, but not yet reached the team of Johnny Barnes. I agree with you, until we win the league title. Rocket 2010, 100% spot on. Soak it up and enjoy every second. Generational. It is generational. I think that's a massive word. Generational. It is one of those. And Noel Tracy says, I think he said it was drab in the best possible way. It was in no way drab last night. It was a performance last night where if you asked Jurgen Klopp what he wanted his team to go out and do, they done exactly that last night. Exactly that. Keith, give me a mark out of 10 so far for the season.
We go 10. Like, I was thinking more along the lines of A, B, and C. You know, like a review report. So, you know, I was geared up for a letter rather than a number. So,
well, you can give me a letter if you want. What have we completely thrown you with the number? Have we completely thrown you with the marks out of 10?
Yeah, I would rather go with a report card. You know, where so I'm going with the A, A plus, A minus, B. You know, all that sort of.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
I'm going to go with an A minus.
Okay.
Just to leave that bit of room.
Right.
For the A plus.
Okay.
You know?
That's fair enough. Lads, there's a lot of talk before. We'll probably knock this on the head in the next 10 minutes unless Andy gets upset and wants to stay till 1 o'clock in the morning. But there's been a lot made of this game against Everton. And I look, before I go on to it, the three of us here, and I'm sure the majority of people watching this on YouTube or Periscope, or indeed download it later on tonight or in the morning and listen to it on their way to work or their commute and stuff like that, the vast majority will agree that this season so far has been utterly outstanding. If you're marking a team 9 out of 10 or an A or a B plus, whatever way you want to do it, I think that's absolutely fair. There is room for improvement, there always is. But if you were to stay at this level, you'd be absolutely happy for the rest of your life, wouldn't you? And long may it continue. Let's hope it brings loads of shiny things come the end of the season. Nobody's putting their hand up to say we've won it. I haven't anyway.
When you talk about room for improvement, like during the 80s and the late 70s,
you weren't
the
alive.
No.
Yeah.
The Liverpool team.
But that's the rumour. Go on.
According to me dad.
Me dad told me.
They would talk about that team, like just winning the league at Christmas and all that. In actual fact, they didn't really ever win it at Christmas because the bar is being raised. You know, the ceiling is so much higher now. Yeah. Your man Miguel Delaney got a lot of coverage today about his article in The Independent.
Yeah. I didn't know where he was going with that, to be honest with you.
I think he was just looking for attention, to be quite honest. But he did raise some very, very valid points. And the bar has been raised where you're talking about a team now, Liverpool and City, a couple of years ago, winning almost every fucking game. Like, it shouldn't really happen in football. Hold on, Andy. Hold on a minute, Andy. Hold on. Miguel Delaney made a point last night, and I asked him on Twitter. I said, "Who do you feel is to blame?" And he went on. He told me that certain individuals have made massive decisions in football that have weighed things in the favour of massive clubs. Of course, they're going to. They're in the business. It's a business, and they're in the business of making money. Putting it this way, if you gave Port Vale 150 million quid tomorrow, they're not going to generate for you TV revenue like Liverpool are going to, right? So that's just the way things are. Okay. And a lot of people made the point to him that Liverpool 9 years ago were on basically out of business. Okay, they've rebuilt this, and because of their name and their worldwide appeal, it's made it a lot easier to rebuild. Okay, I'm not saying it's been easy; it's been a hard road for the last, let's be honest, 30 years. Aside from a couple of big wins here and there, i.e. Istanbul and stuff like that. I don't know where. From what I can make of Miguel Delaney last night, he basically wants, from what I can read of it, without him actually saying it, I think he wants a salary cap. I think he wants the amount of money being invested in each club to be equal, and then we go from there. But it's never going to be equal. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure he knows what he wants himself.
No, but he made the point last night that when United were dominated like this, he made the exact point. I don't really know what he wants. Do you know? Does he does Miguel Delaney want everybody to go into football for free and sit and watch and players play for free, and we don't give out medals at the end of the season because that'll only hurt kids over here that might have their feelings hurt? It's a business. It's a massive business, and let's be honest about it. Miguel Delaney and other people make their living from it. And if there wasn't teams going around and he hadn't got the discussion point like Liverpool becoming probably a team that could probably go and win the most amount of points, what's he going to write about? All they going on fucking Solskjaer? It's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know, Gav. Like a few seasons ago, Leicester won the league out of nowhere. Yeah. And this season, Liverpool are more than likely going to win the league against the Man City side who has unlimited, like a bottomless pit of resources and money. I thought to myself last year, like a fairly depressing thought to think that this might be our highlight. This might be our time. And we won't win fucking anything because of the presence of City. Yeah,
but Kev O'Sullivan makes the point there. If we win the league, that's 5 different sides in 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I don't know how many leagues in the world could even boast that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, and like, if you look at it, right, Stephen Mack says he's a Chelsea fan. I don't know who he supports, but if you take Chelsea for argument's sake, Chelsea arrived in here into England and decided that Abramovich was just going to spend a massive amount of money, and we're talking 15 years ago now, massive amount of money, all right, and dominated for 2 years, then went away, then came back. I don't know what the fella wants. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I think what he's trying to do is, people will differentiate what Chelsea did to what Liverpool are doing. Liverpool are doing this a lot more organic. They are a club who established themselves in the time when football was socialist and it was built up on a lot of values and everything else. And then, of course, like the money came in and Liverpool fell off because they didn't follow that footprint. And now we have owners who do recognise the business of sport and how you generate money and how you do, no matter what the sport, how you grow your brand or your franchise commercially, and they've done that, and they've caught up on 25 years. We fell behind Manchester United, and
because we are inept in what we are doing.
Yeah. So, but they didn't need a cash injection.
No,
there was no cash injection. I mean, the only cash injection that Liverpool have had under FSG is when they turned debt into shares that there was 45 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that's the only cash injection, and that's obviously recoverable if they ever sell the club. But they have done things right. Mm-hmm. They have been very shrewd about how they've done transfers, how they've recruited, how they've gained commercial sponsorship, and also how they've secured loans. It's all very safe.
Yeah,
but like constantly learned as they went as well. You know, they didn't just come in and get it right from the beginning. They've learned on the job.
But we don't have to justify this to anybody. This is my whole point, right? Miguel Delaney, Miguel Delaney is the one that I came across last night. There's probably others that talk about this. But my point is, Miguel Delaney is saying that the decisions have been made to sway the future of football and probably the predictability of football in the favour of massive, huge clubs, okay? Yeah. Liverpool is a massive, huge club. Now, we use Manchester City and Liverpool as two huge clubs. Manchester City are not a big club. Let's be perfectly fucking clear about that, okay? Yeah. Manchester City...
What he said was, Gav, take out big club, because he wasn't really talking about big clubs. His point is about super clubs.
Okay, so super clubs.
Let's forget our understanding of a big club in the past, because a big club to me will be a team that's like rooted in history, like us. Like
okay, so the super club thing now is the person that has the most money. Okay, so he mentioned Liverpool and Man City, and what he done by doing that is he protected himself in what he was saying. Okay, because he said Liverpool and Manchester City could go and do X, Y, and Z because these decisions have been made. Now, let me tell you something, Andy, right? There's 20 teams in this Premier League, okay? And I would suggest that probably 10 to 12 of them are probably in the 30 richest clubs in the world. Okay, yeah. I'm going to say that. I could be slightly off on that. Someone will probably hammer me with a stat that says no. But I would say 10 to 12 of them are probably listed in the top 40 richest club in the world. Okay, so if Manchester City and Liverpool, as Miguel Delaney has made this point, says that these conditions have been pushed in their favour. Okay, what's he saying about Manchester United? Okay, who are the richest club in the world, who are the biggest turnover in the world. They are the biggest club in the world financially and commercially, okay? Then you have Arsenal, who 15 years ago built a 60,000-seater stadium to compete, right? And have made a complete fuck-up, no matter how much money and no matter how many players they've sold. You've Tottenham Hotspur, who have spent £1 billion on a stadium, okay? You've Chelsea, who was backed by a billionaire Russian oil tycoon, okay? What's their excuse? They should have no excuse for what Liverpool are doing. Okay, there is no excuse for these clubs to turn around and go, oh well, this and this and this. There's no excuse, and the argument that Liverpool are winning this league because decisions have been swayed in super clubs' favour is complete, and in my opinion, complete bullshit. And that's
he made a tone as well that they bought the league, you know, saying they're the highest wage bill in the world and the second highest wage bill in the world. But them players didn't go to Liverpool on mega wages. Everyone knows that. You go to Liverpool,
it's performance related.
Top dollar, yeah. You earn your pay rises. So the likes of Salah, Mane, and all, they all got looked after. They all got weighed in, but it didn't start off like that. It's good business, you know. I don't know what he was trying to get at. I think it was just say shit about Liverpool and watch the clicks rolling in.
Yes, it could be that. It could be that. Like Kev O'Sullivan says, Man United are riddled with debt. No, Kev, Man United were bought off the back of money that the Glazers didn't have, and what they done was they took it and they ran with it, and they continued to take 60 million quid a season out of Manchester United, knowing that if they ever do sell it and they're $1 billion in debt, it doesn't matter. They're getting $2.5 billion back and they're walking away, and they didn't even use their own money to do it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, and it didn't annoy me last night. It's annoying me a bit now because I can't understand how all these mega rich clubs, like if Liverpool go and win the Champions League in a final against Manchester City, what's Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich's excuse? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can't. I really don't know. But look, let's get off it for a minute. Let's get off it, lads. The FA Cup. We're playing Everton. There's been a lot of talk over this with regards to what do we do with the team? What way do we approach it? Andy, what way do you approach if you're manager of Liverpool Football Club on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, on another time when players weren't as injured, I'd be saying go as near to full strength as possible. Treat it as another league game. Make your one or two changes that he does tend to make, or if you look at sort of mid-December when he maybe made 3 or 4 changes, that's what I'd be looking at. But you can't really do that now because at the moment our 11 kind of picks itself because of the few injuries that we have. So I think he's in an unfortunate position where he probably has to go with a League Cup selection. Not the last round of it, but one from the previous round where it's peppered with kids and then a few kind of recognised bodies as well. That's the way it is, and I mean I don't think there's much of a discussion about it because that's pretty much what he's forced into at the moment. I would absolutely love if they were in a position to say just bring in Adrian or bring in whatever centre back's not playing at the moment. We haven't got another fit one, and play whatever backup full back there is, or switch around the midfield and play the opposite three, or one of the other 5 that hasn't played, and then we actually don't really have anything else up top. So that's just the fucking way it is. Because it's our time now, and because Liverpool are the best team around the world, I would love to see us clean up on trophies, but we really do need to prioritise and not really take the risk of letting that lead slip. So unfortunately, the FA Cup does have to be popped down the priority order.
Keith, if it wasn't Everton, he's definitely going with a team that you could probably take easily 6 or 7 players out of the game that played against Sheffield United, but it is Everton, and loads of people here are saying, look, we should be fine. Like Liverpool versus everybody says 5 to 6 days till the match till the next match after Everton, we should be fine. We cannot roll over for these, says a lot of people.
That's not the sounds we're hearing, though.
No, that's not the sounds we're hearing. That's not the sounds we're hearing. Damo says all Everton DVD makers will be rubbing their flutes looking forward to Sunday's game to earn a few quid.
They can have it, because when they do bring out their FA Cup, if they did win the FA Cup and they beat Liverpool along the way, it wouldn't sell a single fucking DVD in Liverpool, because we're going to be the ones that win the league. And when they finally do, say, break their trophy, Doug, we've won the fucking league and we're world champions at the time. So look, fuck them. They're irrelevant. They're just, they're just a pimple on our arse, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah, Glenner says we've a week break after this game. No need to play the kids. I don't think it's the week break that does it for me. It's the fact that we're playing another 3 days. Look, we're hitting 4 days, 3 days, 3 days. It's not what's ahead of us. It's what's gone before. Keith,
if we can rest as many as possible, that's ideal, isn't it? It's he's going to have to look at the squad.
Some people are calling for the team that played in the derby a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me personally, right, I'd look at the cast of Brookside and see who has a pair of boots, and I'd make a team out of them and just be done with it. I wouldn't even send any of our kids into this shite. But because it's Everton, it changes things a bit, and it's right. We have to put some sort. We can't go in and get spanked by them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't put the kids team in, but see who can go, and then just we can get a decent enough team, I think, out of what's there. And just see where that brings us. Fuck it. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. I couldn't care less about the FA Cup, to be totally honest.
Yeah, there's loads. Grizz says that it's risking injury. Lubac says I'd rest Alisson, Robbo, Hendo, Salah and Mane. Mark Sproul says they can have it. They get knocked out in the next round anyway. League and Champions League to win. Chris Brack says Adrian, Trent, Gomez, VVD, Robertson, Milner, Gini, Minamino, Lallana, Elliott, Origi. Grizz says Gini, Bobby, Trent, Robbo all off on Sunday. He reckons that's tier 1 information.
I think Bobby's, the likes of Bobby's definitely going to be getting a rest.
And Gini as well.
When all of them. Yeah. Probably Henderson.
I'm going to be honest with you, lads. I don't care if it's Everton. I don't care who it is. We've won priority this season. Yeah. And if the FA Cup has to fall by the wayside, absolutely so be it. Now, are we
making them relevant by even considering this as an object of the game?
I think we could switch around things and probably still go and win it.
If we were playing fucking Stockport or something, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be just saying go and play whatever shit, sorry, that's wrong shit. No, nobody's shit. But we'd be saying go out, whatever's available, go out. If you have a pair of boots, go out and play, and who cares? But because it's Everton, it's added a dynamic into the game that we probably just fucking don't really need. And they've just recruited Ancelotti and we're making them very relevant at the moment. And we're making them relevant in a season that they couldn't be more irrelevant to us.
Yeah.
And I think
Kings of the City, and
I think if Andy, for me, it's look, they have all the analytics around this. They have all the the stats with regards to how far they run, red zone that they're in, all this sort of stuff. We can argue that the cows come home with regards to who should play. Surely the Liverpool fitness team and whatever medical team have looked at all this and went, listen, player A, B, C, D, and E can't play. That's them out of it. This is who's left. This is who should go on the bench. This is probably who you have full steam with, and they make a decision from there. They're not going to do it because it's Everton. I think they look after players a little bit better than that. And if I still think they can still do it anyway, so it's one of those. But we'll have to wait and see. The rumour, says Chris Brackett, is that City have offered 45 million for Soyuncu of Leicester. We'll get in
45.
Yeah, we get into transfers as the month goes on. Andy, have you anything else before we go? Sorry, I'll leave you to last because you probably do. Keith, have you anything else before we go?
No, I'm all good. Get the old connection sorted out in here, see what's going on. Strongly worded letter to me broadband provider, but other than that, no.
Okay.
All good.
Good. Andy, have you anything on your mind you'd like to bring up before we leave?
No, is there no like questions in? No,
I didn't ask for random questions tonight. Would you like me to give the listener a minute or two to come up with a random question for you?
Yeah, if they want to come up with a random topic, I'm sure we could discuss it. My whole objective of tonight was to just give out about people giving out about Christmas being they're sick of it at this stage.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about...
I'm sick of people being sick of Christmas because that's just fucking dickhead behaviour.
I love it.
What else are you in it for?
How could you complain? How could you complain about Christmas? How could you possibly? Well, I understand that Christmas is difficult for some people, but people that haven't got those difficulties, and they have all their family around them, and they have all that, going for them. All the nice
these people who are like sick of being off work and
people that are like they're dying to get their Christmas tree down. They're dying to.
Is yours still up, Andy?
Yeah.
Is it when do you take it down, Andy? Go on.
I take it down on the 6th.
Why the 6th?
Because that's
bad the traditional day, isn't it?
The other day.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, mine's down now.
It's down.
Yeah, down, gone.
Off,
yesterday.
Seriously, piss off. No.
It's not that I'm sick of Christmas. To be honest with you, mine would usually stay up till probably if the 6th.
You have a big event happening this week.
I have a baby coming on Monday, so we kind of have to make room. You can't have a baby lying under a fucking tree when you come home. You know what I mean? We need room.
You see the pictures though.
Exactly.
I know, but I'll probably go down to the shopping centre and get ripped off for portrait pictures. I'm sure they have a Christmas tree hanging around somewhere. Yes. They make the kid close their eyes and wrap them up in a towel or something like that. That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but people who I don't know. The problem with Christmas starting too early now. I don't have a particular problem with it. But when you're eating mince pies in November,
I don't eat mince pies.
Well, other people, and they might be having a cheese board and the first week of December. Like by the time Christmas comes, you're sick of all that shit. Just my advice to people is just pace themselves a bit more. Don't get sucked into it too early. Don't be eating selection
with mince pies, like.
Yeah, don't be eating selection boxes at the end of November.
Yeah.
Relax. Leave them in the pantry.
Yeah.
And just wait till Christmas comes and don't have yourself 10 days into the 12 days of Christmas.
Do you do the 12 days of Christmas
already?
Yeah, sick of chocolate.
I enjoyed Andy's Christmas because he was down at the Grafton Quarter and he was under the Christmas lights, and then he was at the Gaiety doing the panto and all, weren't you? Not doing the panto. You attended the panto, Andy.
Yeah, Andy. And I would recommend even people that are listening from other countries, if they could even fly into Dublin for a weekend before Christmas and go to the Gaiety panto.
Yeah,
it's an amazing experience.
Yeah,
the panto is life. It's one of those things that just makes it all worthwhile. And Christmas, don't be saying Christmas is you're sick of Christmas at this stage. I don't want to hear anybody saying that to me.
Okay,
especially if you've no problems.
Okay, let me see. Somebody asked there. So Secret Santa. Should there be strict rules on Secret Santa, Keith, where, you know, you don't tell the person who you got and stuff like that? Because to me, a lot of the Secret Santa stuff just goes and it's like, oh, I got you, and you know, that kind of way. Should there be strict rules and possible, I don't know, sanctions if the word gets out?
Sanctions, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Cut your hands off type of thing.
No, we're not that much. Like, you know, we're not
that.
fucking mad. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Like,
yeah, I suppose it depends, doesn't it? I mean, I know in my job we done it, but we've a small office, so every fucker guessed who got who, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a pain in the bollocks like that. But yeah, I think there should be an etiquette to it. You know what I mean? If you're going to partake in the festivities, play the game and don't just try to be a bleeding Scrooge and wreck the buzz.
Yeah, okay. And the plum pudding or Christmas cake, which is better, says Rocket?
The marzipan and icing off Christmas cake and then plum pudding. So what they should do is get
notions. This is go on.
Make what people need to start doing is making the plum pudding, but putting marzipan and icing on the top of it, and just bin Christmas cake off all.
Yeah.
Merging them, man. Nice.
What about plum pudding? Christmas pudding is the one that you make with Guinness and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was plum pudding as well. Like, just whatever you fancy. Like, pudding is different. It's wetter.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not into that. Somebody else says, "What's the worst holiday you've ever been on, or worst trip you've ever been on?" Andy, any trips you've been on that have been horrendous?
Yeah, Kusadasi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? Like, I remember
you going to get your hair done.
What?
Were you going to get your hair done?
Boy.
Isn't that what people do? They go to Turkey and get their hair done.
Oh yeah. No, I might have a full head of hair.
Yeah.
But come here. I remember years ago, like, there was a big stigma about going to places where you'd find loads of English, right?
Yeah.
And Magaluf and different parts of Tenerife and all, and you know, you find all the louts going to Lineker's bar and all.
Are you going to get me in trouble here, Andy, with this story?
No,
okay,
this is just like a cultural kind of discussion.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you know, places where it would be very, very British. Like, if I go on holiday, I like to at least experience a small bit of culture, like, you know. But you go to a place and you may as well be just in Blackpool or something. Yeah. Everything's just fucking English breakfast, mate, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing to avoid would be that sort of English mentality. But by God, the one thing you want to avoid when you go on holiday these days, especially with a family, is Dublin scumbags, Northsiders.
Northsiders.
If there was the holiday, you know, the likes of the tour operators should have an app, and you should have access to some sort of like metrics.
I'd say you book your holiday off the vouchers you get from a Voca.
No. You should have access to metrics.
Right.
If there's a serious spike in Northsiders come to certain areas, just avoid like the plague. I'm telling you now, if any English people are listening, avoid Dublin people, and I'm a Dub myself, like the plague. If you're going on holidays.
So avoid Andy if you go on holidays.
Do not go to Porta del Carmen and Lanzarote and end up
play the Glenn says
pubs for sun loungers at 7:10 in the morning. Like
Glenn says, play the English. That's a great show. I once went to Achill Island on a school tour for a couple of days. You know, one of these what?
That couldn't have been shit.
Oh no, it wasn't shit. It was a little bit terrifying. I'll tell you why. We were about 15, 16. We went to Achill Island. Literally drove on a bus, Dublin to Achill Island. Yeah, well, what else would you be doing? And went there, and we're in. It was one of these places, you know, where you go like it's an activity centre, so you do like surfing and mountain biking and canoeing and all, you know, that the usual crap. We went and we're in. About an hour of us getting there, a local man was threatening us with a shotgun.
No way.
That didn't go down. Yeah, we had to have police protection for about 48 hours. So yeah,
but like you're talking about a school full of Northsiders going to Achill.
Yeah. So you say police protection, like this sounds like something out Father Ted.
No, so seriously, there was a cop car outside their place for 48 hours.
Yeah, so you pissed everyone off, and you probably deserved it.
You proved Andy's point, Gav. Well done.
No, we didn't. No, there was not really. I don't think there was anything done. He was just there. Like, you know. So, yeah, there's one for you.
But anyway, Kusadasi.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about Kusadasi. Go on, yeah. We're now 94 minutes into this podcast, just to let you know. Go on.
Jesus, it's only getting going now.
Yeah.
Now, Kusadasi, that would be my recommendation to avoid. It's got all the dubs you don't want to see on holiday over there.
All the Andes, yeah.
No. Southsiders are welcome. But yeah, I don't know. People may not agree with me, but that's just no. We'll never, ever go back to Kusadasi. And I believe there's other parts of Turkey that are beautiful.
Yeah.
Just
where did you go?
What?
Where did you go to Kusadasi?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I heard it was supposed to be good.
Who told you?
Brendan Rodgers to go and get the teeth.
Yeah, but who told you? Because I'm the only North Sider you kind of talk to, I think. Maybe one or two more. So it was clearly...
2006 now, it would be filled into knowing an awful lot more North Siders.
You've weaned them out of your life, have you, over the last 13 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
As you get older, like, you learn to shut people out of your life who are a bad influence on your mentality.
Can I ask you something, Andy?
Go on.
When you're in Kusadasi, did you buy a leather jacket and give it a name?
No, that's something I do. That's something I do occasionally here.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us the name of your leather jacket?
Oh, you're never going to find that
out. Okay, no problem.
I got it in Massimo Dutti, though.
What?
I got it in Massimo Dutti.
Massimo Dutti? What's that?
It's a shop.
Where?
There's one in Grafton. The one I got was in Grafton Street.
Of course it was.
Grafton Quarter.
The Grafton Quarter. Absolute notions, I swear to God. Well, I tell Davo about this. Right. Are we done?
That has a leather jacket.
What?
That was that has a leather jacket with suede sleeves.
Okay, I'll ask him about that.
I think it might have, like, you know, elbow pads or leather elbow patches on them as well.
Leather on leather, like.
Yeah, so that will probably actually understand.
Okay. Noel Tracy says Santa Panza back in the day, lads, bleeding deadly. Is there anything else before we go? Seriously, anything? I really want you to say no.
Of course, there's loads of things.
Chris Back says, Gav, can Andy name your child? Absolutely not. He'd probably name a Tarquin or something like that. He's absolute, like, you know what I mean, way above his station he is, you know what I mean? He's from Tallaght. Do you know what I mean? It's like the day I said,
I'm actually not
from Green Hills.
Yeah, but there's a funny thing I read about names there a while ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, there's a cycle with names. You know the way everybody kind of calls their kids the same kind of jump. No, nobody calls a kid Michael now.
Loads did years ago. There's loads of mix around. It's generational.
Yeah, but
nobody calls that the kids Michael.
They don't. Maybe on the north side they do. Like that. That could be in it.
There's more chance. Yeah, right, okay.
But there's I believe it's a 20-year cycle for names. So a name might start off in a really affluent area in London or whatever, New York or whatever. Like, and the next, like, you know, Bradley, say, right? And 10 years later, that name is fucked. Like, only fucking Scobies are calling the kids Bradley. And then, like, 10 years later after that, then it's back to really, you know, nice parts of the world again. Yeah. So, when you kids' names, mad. But Michael. Will it ever be fashionable again? I don't know. I don't know how many. Yeah, I don't know.
But will it ever be out of fashion?
That's the thing.
I don't know. I being honest with you, I don't know a Michael probably under the age of 30.
I'd say 35. Yeah, I nearly called my son Michael.
Did you?
Yeah.
Actually, I know a few named after Michael Owen, but they're not really Michael. They'd be more Mickey or Mikey now. But
yeah, that's another thing you need to avoid. Name your kids after footballers.
Yeah. Like what names are you thinking of when it comes to footballers where you go, no, it's not happening?
Trent.
Trent, yeah, that's probably going to happen, isn't it?
You've started them on their team.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just so much can happen in football that you've named your child after a footballer, and 2 years later they're gone.
Yeah. I'd say there's a couple of McCades there a couple of years ago, and now they feel to be load of Virgil, says Damo Flood. Glenn says, how many Margarets are 60 now? I couldn't imagine a child called Margaret. I think the likes of them are coming back though again, aren't they?
Margaret.
What are we doing here talking about this?
No, they shorten those names.
Mags.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't call me child any variation of Margaret, but there is people out there who would.
She could end up being called Mick. Go on.
Yeah. Do you know how? Do you know what's weird? People that are called Margaret are called Peggy.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking?
Yeah. That's mad.
Yeah, but in the olden days, had loads of names.
Weird that Richard's being called Dick.
Yeah. I knew a fella now. I'm trying to. I knew him a good couple of years ago, and I'll think of it now in a minute. I'll probably think of it after the show. But I knew him, and his name was completely different to like what his name was. Sorry, his name was Christopher. Right, his name was Christopher. Yeah. Right, and everyone called him Noel. I'm not messing with you. Yeah. He's a taxi driver. He was from he's from down in Clondalkin. His name was Christopher Mack. His second name started with Mac, and it was everyone called him Nolly, you know. And I always remember the time he was driving a taxi. He was telling us, and he took a fare. And the fella in the front was acting the maggot a bit, you know, and he says, he was giving out to him, and he's saying, listen, keep her up now, I'm throwing you out of the car. And he said, Jesus Christopher, relax. He says, my name is Noel. Your man didn't know where to look because on the front of the car, you know the way it tells you the name, like Christopher. And he's like, stop calling me Christopher, my name is Noel. But that's the one I remember.
Noel's a fucking poxy name.
I'd say it is at Christmas, you know, when people go, oh, Noel, you know, this sort of stuff. I'd say it grinds on you after a while. Lads, we have to knock this in the head. This is 100 minutes long now. It's getting stupid. You know, we have to stop. Keith, thanks a million for joining me tonight. It's been great.
It's a pleasure as always.
Good. Andy, thanks for joining me. You've absolutely slaughtered the North Side for no reason. Anyone called Michael that used to listen to us no longer listens to us.
Michael on the North Side.
Michael, that's from the North Side that goes on holiday in Cusa. That's being alienated from the Fatback 4 Daily.
Yeah, them negotiations we are due to have with regarding sponsorship with Turkish Airlines are on their arse now. But look, it's been a really good one, Andy. Thanks a million.
Yeah, pleasure.
No problem. That's it. That's the Fatback 480 for Friday night. There won't be a show tomorrow night. There will be one on Sunday. And then we're literally playing it by ear for the rest of next week. Most of you will know why. If you don't, it's because I genuinely have very important things going on from Monday to probably Thursday, Friday next week. That's been the Fatback 480. Thanks a million for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Over now.